Shalom, shalom, peace and glory to everyone, to the chat, to the Most High, Yahweh, to the Son, Yahweh Shai, to the 12 tribes of Israel, which are Negroes. I like to say peace and glory and shalom, which means peace, or shalom. So today we're going to talk about this wilderness. I know y'all looked at the headline, the title. I think we're very close to the second Exodus. And just off the top of my head, we know the 400-year prophecy is in effect. We can see all the judgments been happening, all kinds of crazy stuff, plagues, people dying and wars, rumors of wars. Everything is all in play. When we go back and we look at Exodus and we see what happened during that time, when we was in the land of Egypt, we can see what we look at that, we see that when he sent out the 10 plagues and he hardened Pharaoh's heart, so Pharaoh would be able to tell his sons and they tell their sons and the other sons what the Most High did in Egypt. And that's what's going on today as we live in today, the second Egypt. So I'd like to give a shout out to you all in the chat, and any verses and any scriptures y'all have, please put up. But I'm going to start out just doing a little reading in Exodus chapter 14, I believe. Let me make sure. Exodus, chapter 14. And we're going to read and see what happened in the first Exodus. What exactly happened when the Pharaoh finally decided to let us go after them plagues was whooping up on that day. Now, Exodus 14 verse 10 reads, "And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lift up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it has been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness." And can y'all hear that? Y'all listen to that? You gonna tell me that ain't black people? They already talking about it'd be better for us to stay in Egypt and serve them than to die in the wilderness. Now, when we read in Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15 to 17, tells us, it says, when we get in the wilderness, one's to hide behind one's tree. And it says, them that sanctify themselves hide behind one's tree, eating swine's flesh and abomination, and the mouth shall be consumed. The same thing we're going to see happening right here. Soon as they seen the Pharaoh's army coming after them, we as so-called black folks, which are the Israelites, start to get scared and say, man, we should have stayed in Egypt. We don't want to die in the wilderness. Now, this second Exodus, we're going to have some people in there acting almost the same way. We're going to have some rebels in there. But this second Exodus, also we're going to have some people that's left behind that do believe in the Most High, that do believe in the statute, laws, commandment, and the Messiah. But they're going to stay here in America or stay wherever they at for one reason. We're going to get to that point. Now let's get to verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. See, we know now in the book of Deuteronomy, when it says, I will take you back to Egypt again, this time with ships, it ain't talking about this Egypt, because you say you ain't going to see them no more forever. Verse 14, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forth, but lift up the rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Now, remember, when they was leaving Egypt, they looked back and they seen the Egyptians coming towards them. They got scared. They said, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to turn back. Maybe we need to, go back and serve the Egyptians. Already the faith is already gone. Now, in this second Exodus, we're going to have some trauma. We're going to have some people in the group like that. Maybe we need to turn back and go to America and serve these heathens. Maybe we need to turn back and go back to Europe. Maybe we need to turn back and go back to South America. Wherever we scatter, the Most High is going to bring us out all the places. We scattered to four corners of the earth. So we're going to have some naysayers within our camps saying the same thing. But we got to stand strong. And we got to look and see what did he tell Moses? What did Moses tell our people? It says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, of the Elohim. So we have to stand still and see that salvation, because the Most High has demonstrated so many times that he has saved us out of harm's way. But we still have a doubt in mind. Now, this time right here, in Exodus, the first time, we can kind of see why they probably having that. You know, this is basically when when Israel was a young nation, I would say. So as a nation of people, over like 600 some thousand men and children had left. So we were still young as a nation, but now we're not. So when we go there and we have that type of doubt, you know, and even within our minds that why we here today, when we have that type of doubt, because sometimes even myself, I get so frustrated. And I'm like, you know, the Most High, I'm ready to go. Then I said, well, you know, and doubt try to come in. Remember, we got to stand still and see the salvation of the Most High Yah through the Hamashiach, the Messiah. So I'm going to read some of your comments after that. I see you, Jason. You already put some verses up there. So let's go to Ezekiel 20 next. You know, I am so ready to get up out of here, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I think it's very, 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 I'm pretty sure y'all are too. And I think it's very close. You know, I'm not just saying that as in a Santa Claus way or some type of magic way. But I think we are very close to getting up out of here. I didn't get to watch Tail Ministry had got a video out. One of my friends, brothers called me today. I need to look at it. He said on the video, Tail is showing something about Putin in Russia. They've given a commercial. In a commercial, they are bowing down and to us, the black people, and telling us not to go back to, you know, America because they never had us in slavery, but America did. This is playing on their commercial in Russia. Now, I don't know what's behind all that, but it also, what it is telling us, that somebody know that we are the people. So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 34. We'll start Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 34, and it reads, "And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with a fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pled with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, said the Lord." We know this ain't talking about Egypt, because he made a different, a distinction between them. Verse 37, "I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. I will purge out among you the rebels, them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. They shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord." So, check this out. That's right. That's right. Pray for each other, Israel. That's right. I like that. That's what we ought to do. To keep, make sure we don't get that doubt in mind. That doubt in mind, even they had in Egypt. Now, you notice he gonna purge out the rebels this time, right? And also remember, in the first Egypt, everybody else died out. There was a whole another generation that went into the land. Now, we're gonna get to that part, but we ain't gonna have but 3.5 years. So it's gonna be totally different from having 40 years in the wilderness. But one thing he's gonna do is purge out the rebels. Get them out. The ones that's causing confusion. The ones that's telling us, it's okay to do this and do that. The ones that don't want to follow instructions when the Most High, who have us, whoever he have, that's of us, giving us these instructions, the Levites, because we know in Isaiah 66, it says the Levites will get their name back. So I suspect the Levites was going to be in the wilderness, which in Isaiah 66, it tells us that. So we're going to have rebels even during that time trying to lead us a different way. We can see this right here. Why would he have to purge them out? He going, it says that the ones that the rebels and them that transgress me, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter to. He's still gonna bring them out, but they ain't gonna enter into the kingdom. They ain't gonna enter into the land. So we gotta not allow the rebels to bring that type of doubt that we see what happened in Exodus. Now, let's get the hot part. Let's get the Revelations, y'all. I'm going to read Revelations 12, 1 through 5, then 14 through 17, because in between that, it's talking about the dragon and the beast. The dragon has, 10 horns, 7 crowns on his head, which is all the nations that had us in captivity. So I'm going to skip that part, but I'm pretty sure y'all know all of that. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 1 reads, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon upon her feet, and upon her head, and a crown of 12 stars." Now, the sun and the moon can represent, we know, Judah, Ephraim, but we also represent these two different fake religions we've been in, Islam and Christianity, the sun and the moon. And then it said 12 stars on her head. We know the woman is the nation of Israel. Watch this. And she, shalom, shalom, brother Eric.
Hey, shalom, Mark. What's going on? Shalom.
Shalom. Yeah. So I'm going to keep reading here. You want to say anything before I keep going?
Yeah, shalom and blessings to everybody in the chat. Sorry for being tardy. It's a hard habit to break. But Where are you at now?
I'm in Revelations 12, so you came in at a good time.
Okay, cool.
Because I started in Exodus chapter 14, verse 10 through 17. Then I went to Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 34 to 38. And also I hit a little bit on Isaiah 66. And I'm in Revelation chapter 12. I'm going to read verses 1 through 5, then 14 to 17.
Okay.
Start back reading. And verse 1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun, and with the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, Brother, remember that day was talking about that, and you said that moon and the sun represent what, Ephraim and Judah?
Yeah, well, it depends on your interpretation of it. If you read the patriarchs, it tell you the sun and moon represent the kingship and the priesthood. The sun represent the priesthood, and the moon represent the kingship.
Cool. Also, it said 12 crown of 12 stars. So we know the woman is Israel, and she being with child and cried, travailing in the birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. And a lot of people miss it, but this is great. Having 7 heads and 10 horns and a crown upon his head. We know these are the nations had us in slavery right here. It's right here, too. And verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to deliver for to devour her child. Oh, I'm skipping spots. I tell you, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon it was born. We know that's the Messiah. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. I mean, wow. That's when I look at this part right here, I'll be like, whoa. A woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of God, that they shall feed her there 1,203 days. And there was a war in heaven. So I was going to skip all of that, but before I go any farther, Brother Eric, you got anything to say about this right here? When I read this, it gives me two different, I can say two different ones, but it gives me our history. When you look at the dragon having 10 horns and 7 heads, then we know what they did to Messiah, and we know what they did to us after the Messiah down through history up to right now. That's in slavery.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely walking down some history. It's also letting you know what's coming as well, as far as the wilderness is concerned. It does take a little bit of understanding to read Revelations, or at least a basic understanding of who the people are, who the woman is, things like that. And I'm seeing also a reflection of the second Exodus, but that's as we read further down. I don't want to jump the gun, but I agree. It's walking down some history.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't catch that 10 horns and 7 heads right now. I'm serious. And you learn something every day when you're reading these scriptures. I'm like, whoa, it's right there. 10 horns, 7 heads. Wow. And we know who the eighth beast is. So I'm just gonna go to start at verse 14 now. This is what I really want to get into. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nursed for a time and a half a time from the face of the serpent. Now, as another verse says, well, let me keep going. And the serpent cast out of his mouth waters as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and has the testimony of the Messiah, which says Jesus Christ, Yeshua. So when I read that, but I skipped a part. Let me see. It also gives a days where the woman gonna be in the wilderness too.
Yeah, you read it in
Yeah,
Revelations
okay.
12,
Okay.
Revelations 12 and 6.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I did. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared of God, that they shall feed her there 1,203 score days. So we know it's 3.5 years when we get the time and half a time. So when we see this, and also it says the dragon gonna make war with the remnant of her seed, and the remnant of her seed is keeping the commandments of Yah and his testimony of Yahshua. Ain't that something? Now, when I look at this now, I see what's going on with Israel in America and around the world. We know a lot of people now are starting to say what? They start to say that America is Israel. So, but you got Israelites are believing, trying to keep the statute, laws, commandments, believing the Messiah, but they think this is America. And wherever they scatter to, you never know. They might say that right there is Israel. I don't know. But I know they saying this is Israel. So it makes sense if a lot of us leave and go to the wilderness, and the remnant of her seed, he gonna make war with them in America or wherever they left at. You got anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, you have a lot of people thinking that this is America. You have a lot of people also uh, who believe that we're going through Jacob's trouble. We're gonna go through that time of Jacob's trouble. We know Jeremiah 30 tells us that it will be a time of Jacob's trouble, but he should be saved out of it. But yet you got a lot of brothers and sisters teaching on that, saying that we have to prepare to go through that. And like the brother said, a lot of people thinking that this is the land. And I can see that in a lot of ways too. It's a lot of stuff written in prophecy concerning that, warning people against that. But that Revelations 12 that you just read, if you look at where it talks about the serpent cast out water as a flood after the woman, that's sort of similar to what Pharaoh did when he sent the army after Israel, after he had already released them and let them go. And you can see around verse 14, it's saying that the woman had a place prepared for her in the wilderness for times, and half a time. And in Revelations 12:6, it says 1,203 score days, which goes to about 3.5 years or so.
Yeah, that right there is, I think it's right on point. And it's like a puzzle when I think about, which I ain't gonna go into, but it's like a puzzle when you think about the two witnesses. It's like a puzzle. It's like it all goes together when you look at um, what's gonna happen with the two witnesses and what's going on here with us going into the wilderness, and what's going on when some of our people left behind, right? And then we see the transformation of the bodies, in Thessalonians and in Ezekiel 37. Oh man, I just see it like a puzzle. It's like a one big puzzle all coming together, which bring I think understanding on what our future is looking like. But you're right. The same thing happened in Egypt when the Pharaoh finally let us go. He decided, nah, we gonna go get them, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It might happen here when we leave here in the second Exodus too. And even in Egypt, we read that some of our people were saying, "Hey, man, we should have stayed in Egypt. If you're gonna leave us out here in the wilderness to die, because the Egyptians' army was coming after them, they was afraid." And then when Moses said, "Stand still, see the salvation of the Lord," of course, he parted the Red Sea. They went through, and then he swallowed the army. So we also, I think, we're gonna have people be having that type of doubt when it's time for us to get up out of here. You might even have some turn back. But I am looking forward to going to the next level about this wilderness. I think, I want to do this little small video first because we supposed to come on and do something on the two witnesses again. I know Brother Eric did a lesson on that, but it's going to tie in with us in the wilderness. So that's why I thought about, come on, do a lesson on this and compare what happened in the first Exodus to the second Exodus, which we know is a whole lot more plagues in this Exodus going because it's going around the world, not just Egypt. We're not just in one place, we scattered. So I think this Exodus right here, that's why the scriptures tells us we ain't gonna be talking about the first Exodus no more. We're gonna be talking about this one. So anything else you have on this, Brother Eric?
Yeah, it was something I want to mention. You said that it's like putting a puzzle. Once you look at all this stuff, it's like a puzzle coming together, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you and when we get into the two witnesses, we'll see this as well. If you start in Revelations 11 and read down into 12, you'll get a bigger scope of the time frame, because when you look at the time of the two witnesses, that's going to be the same time that the woman is going into the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And when it talks about the two witnesses being killed in the same place as spiritually called Sodom, where Mashiach was also crucified, um, when it says that they're going to be in the street, dead in the street for 3.5 days, and they're going to hear a voice saying, "Come up hither," you'll see that all that is in line with the first resurrection when Mashiach is returning. So you're reading about an event, everything that's happening within a certain event, from the time of the two witnesses and us going into the wilderness until the time of the return of Mashiach.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Have anybody even? I'm just asking the question. I don't know. I know some of y'all out here. Y'all be knowing some stuff on this chat. Have y'all heard of two people over there that part of the country or somebody start to witness and tell the people who we are, what they did to us? I'm just asking. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not even started yesterday. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's just that maybe I'm being anxious and ready to get up out of here.
Yeah. When did you plan on dealing with that? The two witnesses.
um, you want to hit a little bit on it now?
Uh,
Or you want to wait?
we can wait because it's quite a bit. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot to tie in, and
Yeah.
then it's another source too that'll tell you exactly who the two witnesses are, and that'll tie in with Revelations.
Okay. Okay. Put some of the comments up here. And Jason Phillips says, the oppression of the poor, for the signing of the needy. Now will I arise, said the Lord. I will set him safely from him that puffed at him. Okay. Let's see. I, you know, okay. I think that when we like when I went in Ezekiel 20, when it says I'm gonna purge out the rebels, it also said I'm gonna bring them out of the land, but I ain't gonna let them go into the land of Israel. And I was just wondering, I wonder what's gonna happen to them then. It don't say. It's just something to think about. It's something.
You can look at examples of what happened in the wilderness the first time.
If they died.
You know how the Most High purged out different people within that 40-year period, but it's going to be worse this time because it's going to be within a smaller frame of time. We're not going to have 40 years in the wilderness.
You don't have 3.5 years to get it right. You don't have 3.5 years to get it right. And when you read in Isaiah 66, it says that Levite is going to get their name back. Well, it says we're going to like that. So I wonder if that's going to be in the wilderness. It's going to be the Levites bringing all the teaching on how things supposed to be when we go in the land. I mean, I guess that's how it was in Moses in the time when they was in the wilderness.
I think it's more so going to be for the services because we still have to bring sacrifices. You got to remember also where it talks about how you're going to circumcise the hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Where no man is going to teach another.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
We all gonna know him, but the sacrifices in the office of the temple is still gonna need to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people don't even believe in that, but yeah, even it says that we're gonna basically go back to that. What's that? Psalm 91. He shall cover thee with the feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be the shield and the buckler, that shall not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for thee by day, I believe, right? Because I could cut off. But I'm ready to get the two witnesses out here. What time is it? So we can you want to, we can start, we get off here.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I was just chiming in. See, you had already started. I had some other stuff going on, but yeah, it's a blessing to be here. Shalom and blessings to everybody in the chat. I see my brother JPM.
Be bringing the word down there.
See brother Apostle Curtis Lewis, brother Rome, brother Jason Camphor, Lifted by Yah, sister Omiya, Yah Quad, sister Sheila, who else? T Brown, everybody in the chat. Shalom, Nadia, Yah's light. Hope all is well with y'all. Sister Carolyn Wesley, shalom to you. Aniana Coleman, shalom. And if you haven't already, y'all check out my new channel, my new reading channel, Pen of the Scribe on YouTube.
Yeah. Shalom to everybody in the chat. We're ready to get off here, but let's stay on. We can stay on. I'm just gonna shout out. We can stay on. Talk a little bit about this two witness, what we're going to come out with. Shalom, you all. Peace and blessings. See you next time. Shalom.